It's Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillos Diz. Featuring Frank. And Jen.
This is Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillos Diz, or just me, Frank. I am Frank. Jen is on assignment in New York City this evening with Mama Dillo. So for the next 29 minutes or so, I will have 3 topics or subjects that are happening in the Disney universe, as it were. Actually, there's 2 stories that are in the Disney universe, and I think one is a little interconnected. I think all 3 are actually interconnected. And you are first, Ryan. Welcome in here on a quiet Thursday night. 3 topics or subjects. All of them are related somehow, and we'll talk about them here before the 9 o'clock hour. Traditionally, usually, what will happen following Theme Park Thursday Live is we would take it to DillosDizResort.com. That's our Patreon, with memberships beginning as low as $1 per month. DillosDizResort.com. And tonight, though, there will be no post show due to a perpetual allergy attack I've been having for 2 weeks. I don't think I'll make it past 30 minutes here, but planning to do something on Sunday for resort guests only, exclusive for DillosDizResort.com. That's in the works right now. Sunday night over on the Dillos Diz Patreon. So very quiet in the early going. Jen, clearly the draw here as we get things going on the Thursday night. 3 topics, 3 subjects. We don't have 6. We just have 3. I just like to call them topics or subjects. Here they are now, in no particular order, but numbered 1, 2, or 3. Topic number 1. Frozen Forever? Earlier today, did a whole big the Frozen lands are opening all over the world, everywhere. Arendelle is everywhere, and not in Iceland, where I was last weekend. Check out this week's Theme Park Thursday podcast in your favorite podcatcher for the audio version. But the video version of this week's podcast is actually here on our YouTube channel. Check it out. One of the biggest secrets in the 5-year history of Dillos Diz. I don't know, it's not a secret, I guess. It was something that happened. One of the biggest reveals in the 5-year history of Dillos Diz happens on this week's podcast, but you can watch it here on the YouTube channel. Just click that thumbs up right now just to get things going and keep things moving. Frozen Forever, Arendelle's everywhere. Iger on Good Morning America this morning, he says, Frozen 3, that's a thing, but there could be Frozen 4. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not going to use any quotes. So will there be Frozen 3 and Frozen 4? We'll talk about that here in these 30 minutes. Topic number 2 is a little bit more New York-based, maybe theater-based, but a show that we've spoken about over the years here at Dillos Diz, which is the immersive experience. Sleep No More is closing in New York City. It's been open since 2011, but I would say, me personally, I think it's a big deal for a lot of reasons. It's a big-time immersive experience. It's 2 months after Galactic Star Cruiser closed. So we'll talk about what kind of experiences people are, seeking out these days as immersive theater as a whole, and immersive experiences as an entirety begin to pivot a little pivot. And topic number 3, MC or MCUO. I don't know how I would go with that one there. I wrote it, but didn't say it to myself prior to this live stream. The Marvels debuted last weekend to a disappointing $47 million at the domestic box office. Everyone that I know that has seen it has felt a certain way. So we'll talk about what happened, what went wrong. It might sound like some of the things we've spoken about in the past, but we basically got 3 universes to talk about here on the live stream here for 30 minutes with the MCU, immersive theater experiences as a whole, with Sleep No More closing, and Frozen Forever. Will we get more Frozen in the future? 312 is what Ryan's there. Jeffers is driving, can't vote right now, but he's texting in the live stream. I'm confused. I don't know how that works. Jeffers in Canada works a little bit different, but that's what's happening here. We'll do a little 312 since Ryan requested with the MC. And I'm happy to go to the share screen right away because I do not want to be on the giant screen for this entire 30 minutes. The Marvels earned a disappointing $47 million in its opening weekend last week. I know Ryan did see it. The Marvels crashed the box office. What does this mean for the franchise? This is from NPR. Superhero fatigue, the 33rd installment, the Marvels movie is here of the MCU. And $47 million is what it earned. At an hour and 45 minutes, I will say, me personally, when I saw that it was going to be the shortest of the MCU movies, and seeing that was only an hour and 45 minutes, I thought it had a chance to overperform. I think people were speculating it would not do well on opening weekend at the box office. So with a shorter time and therefore more showings throughout the day at the movie theater, I thought it would do better. It did not. I think there's various reasons, but everyone that I know that has gone to see the Marvels has liked the Marvels, and even some more than like the Marvels. So I think what we should discuss here is there MCU burnout? Was it too much? They just got pushing and we're all burned out between the Disney Plus shows and the movies that seem to come out one a season or so. When did that burnout actually start happening for people, I think, is a big question. And what does the future hold? Because with the MCU, I think the other story parallel to this one all week has been that Pedro Pascal, aka the Mandalorian, is the new contender, the new front runner to play Reed Richards in a Fantastic Four movie. No. I my superhero, what I liked about superheroes when I was a kid was very periphery. I liked Spider-Man. I didn't have a lot of Spider-Man comics. Loved the Batman TV show. Didn't have a lot of, Batman comics when I was a kid. Once in a while, get a comic book here and there, but I wasn't a comic book kid. But I do remember, what I remember most about comic books is the Fantastic Four ones I had, because I just thought, and speaks to who I am now, but 4 very unique characters that had these extraordinary qualities and were, a family, and that was cool. And I've been so disappointed in the movie versions so far. I think, as most people have, but I don't know. They can't just go with the hot thing, or Pedro Pascal, he's buzzworthy, let's have him play Reed Richards. Love Pedro Pascal, nothing against Pedro Pascal, but you gotta have the right 4 with the right chemistry. All 4 have to click, not just Reed and Sue, not just Reed with the other 3, or not just Thing with the other 3. they all have to click. And, so to me, in some ways, I mean, Spider-Man is its own. I feel like at this point, you can't go wrong with Spider-Man. But maybe the card in their pocket, if they play it right, in uh, re-energizing the MCU, is the Fantastic Four. So to me, they can't muck it up. They can't biff it, as it were. They got to get the right. They can't just get four buzz people and hope that they get the right movie. They need a strong villain, strong actor playing Doom, and they need four actors playing the Fantastic Four who are capable of producing great chemistry together. So I'm disappointed. I still want to see the Marvels. So I'm hoping to see it with the 7-year-old. I fear I won't have the time to do it, and worry that it'll be out of the theater by the time I get a chance, an opportunity to see it. Ryan saying that the Disney Plus series fatigued everyone. And it's the third MCU movie release this year. That's a lot. And it was going like one a season before times, I feel like, and even kind of kept that up a little bit in 2021. It's a lot. And I get it. You want to get as much money as you can, obviously, business first, but you want to have, and you want to you don't want to wait 5 years for a second movie. Because you're just doing one Marvel movie a year. If you can get the money, get the money. But I felt like 3 to 4 a year, a calendar year, felt like a lot. And, I think it's unfortunate for this movie. But I also think, I think I've been to the movies a lot here, as I've mentioned the last several weeks. I've been through the movies a lot since July, not just not with first run movies per se. Saw Indiana Jones, saw Barbie, but with the Disney 100 re-releases, the 30th anniversary of Hocus Pocus, and Nightmare Before Christmas, and so I've seen the Marvels trailer a lot. So to me, I feel like I was getting hype for the Marvels. I don't know who else was getting hype for the Marvels. And I contend again, as I always do, that the failing lies in Disney Plus and not putting eyeballs on the trailer all the time as soon as you click on Disney Plus. Let me skip the trailer every time. Give me the skip trailer. I hit the icon. Let me skip the trailer. And if I want to, or I can watch the trailer for the 100th time. But the kids, they're going to see it for 100th time. And then maybe they're going to go watch Ms. Marvel, or maybe they're going to go watch Captain Marvel so they know what we're talking about. Or maybe they're going to watch WandaVision. I think that's a stretch because I feel like they tried with a couple of the trailers that I saw, to know where each of the three characters were coming from. But, again, I think they're just running off of the brand name, and I don't know at what point they will have to do better in their marketing overall. And I don't understand, when they have the Disney Plus platform, why they don't use that more. We talked about it with, not with Wish, but something else that came out is Elemental. Great Elemental documentary that came on when it was released to Disney Plus. Why wasn't that documentary on in June? So people could get excited for the movie, 2 weeks prior. June 1st, release the documentary for Elemental, and then put on, then people can go to the theater and go, no, I want to go see this movie. It's great based on how it was creatively put together. I think it's just a big fail. 8:45 here. We got 15 minutes left in 2 topics or subjects. So we're going to go to number 1, and that's Frozen Forever. So we're going to switch the screen here as I come back and then move to a different screen with Frozen 4, courtesy of Variety here. I don't know what's going on here. Frozen 4 in the works at Disney, Bob Iger reveals. So the previously announced Frozen 3, and that is in the works, but there might be a Frozen 4 because Jen Lee, who's creating Frozen, working on Frozen 3, It seems to be growing into an epic thing where we're gonna have Frozen 3 and Frozen 4 potentially, a la, I don't know, Deathly Hallows 1 and 2. Uh, if I think off the top of my head there. So, big question for Disney. Again, Disney just trying to find whatever they can, a beacon of light, a ray of hope. Figment is showing up at Walt Disney Studios saying, I'm the answer. I'm the answer to all of this. I can solve all of Disney's problems with imagination. But the thing with Frozen 3 and Frozen 4 is I think they're making a smart choice by this exploration project. It's a little blue sky in nature. It's a little beyond Frontierland. But I think, you grow up this way, right? You get the Star Wars trilogy and you're like, all things should happen in trilogies. And Back to the Future is on E this evening with commercial breaks. 3 Back to the Future movies. Even though it's not a perfect with the third movie, people love the third movie. 3 movies, 3 Godfather movies. Like, this is what we grew up on. And so when people start talking about 4, Toy Story 3, you're like, that's it. Let's get out of here. And then you do Toy Story 4. And you understand why they do Toy Story 4. But you don't, it's not going to go as you expect it to. So I approve of this exploration process of whether or not you can get a 4th movie. This is a world that has been created, a world of play that I like to say sometimes, that is worth expanding, showing up in the theme parks, and hopefully not just getting pigeonholed in Norway and Orlando. I think they need to perhaps think about expanding it more because it's still a good entity. It's still a good IP. But get to Frozen 3, have a strong ending. People are a little split on Frozen 2. I think it's a very good movie. If I was asked to explain it to somebody, I don't know if I really could. But I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it when it was on. Another excellent documentary series on Disney Plus related to Frozen 2. I highly recommend. But I think in the overall, make sure you have a strong 3 first. Get a good, strong story. Let Frozen 2 be a middle act that seems to be, where's the story moving next? But, make it as strong as Toy Story 3 and then worry about whether you need to learn the lesson about Toy Story 4 or not. And that's me saying I approve of Toy Story 5 because they need to do better than Toy Story 4. I didn't have that big of a problem with Toy Story 4. It was just unnecessary. But Frozen is a big world that is worth cultivating and expanding and making enticing for future guests of the theme parks. I think you gotta do whatever you can at this point because Disney's out fishing for whatever they can at this point. Last but not least here is Sleep No More, No More. The big immersive theatrical experience Sleep No More announced its closing last week. And as I pull up the article from the New York Times, before it debuted here in the city in 2011, it was very big in Boston. That's where I first heard it. People had seen it in Boston. Performers I worked with at the Sterling Renaissance Festival, and there was buzz about it. And then when it came here to New York, it kind of flew under the radar. Limited run, could extend. And Neil Patrick Harris went on. I think he was guest hosting for Regis, and said where he had been and just talked endlessly and not endlessly in a bad way. Just talked at great length about Sleep No More and the experience. And then it seemed to the fire started for the show here in the city. It became a very hard to get ticket. I think Mrs. Dillo and I saw it in 2012. For those of you who don't know, it's based on the Scottish play Macbeth, but with almost like film noir, brief encounter, Hitchcockian type of thematic design to it, and it's multiple floors in this building. They call it the McKittrick Hotel. You wear a mask for the 3 hours, and you just go explore room to room to room. And basically, the story is created for you. It's like a choose your own adventure. I want to follow this character. I'm going to get a certain story. I'm going to follow another character. This is more familiar to everyone here about the Galactic Star Cruiser, and and it was a phenomenon for a long time. And immersive theatrical experiences, blew up, as it were, because of Sleep No More. More producers started to take chances on experiences. You saw the rise of escape rooms in great part because of Sleep No More. Sleep No More had a very mysterious, almost, while there wasn't really high stakes, you just didn't know what was going to happen. So for the audience, very high stakes of, I don't know what I'm going to walk into next. I don't know what room I'm going to see. I don't know if a character is going to pull me into a secret space. I don't know if I'm going to get to go to the mysterious sixth floor. These were the things that you heard about and were exciting. The possibilities were exciting. And, it led us, basically, you can follow the through line of Sleep No More to new immersive experience, just the overuse of immersive for everything. Escape rooms, the Galactic Star Cruiser, fully rounded Galaxy's Edge. I mean, I think in some ways, I don't know if you get that kind of land without a Sleep No More, honestly, because people just started wanting those experiences. Now we come out of the pandemic, and you can't tell from person to person to person what kind of experience people want. People, so they want to. I work in an audience filled space. People want to sit next to each other, but you go to Broadway, maybe they don't want to sit next to each other. You go to a sporting event, it's outdoors, people go into an indoor event, and maybe they don't go. There's no consistency and there's no predictability to what audiences want. And the thing I keep talking about to everyone is people want the con experience. They want that. People, Comic-Con, 90s Con, Galactic Con, whatever, all SuperCon, all these things that come up, they seem to get people to buy tickets and expanded experiences. And Jeffers is out on escape rooms. I'm not doing an escape room either. The idea alone, I know they'll let you out, but and it's not for me. So the thing with this is, with Sleep No More closing on the heels of Galactic Star Cruiser's closure, where you kind of have these bookend, where we started with immersive experiences, theatrical experiences, and where we ended with Galactic Star Cruiser. It's kind of like these two pillars that span a decade plus, really. And the question is, where does it go from here? Where do experiences go from here? Where do entertainment-based, performance-based experiences go from here? And I'm here to tell you, I don't know that answer. And that's why I keep coming back to the cons. That kind of energy, that kind of community feeling, that kind of interaction is what people want. I think you go to a Renaissance festival, there's places that people can still go. I'm more talking about, what is the evolution of it? What is the next thing? Because it's not a high price ticket like Galactic Star Cruiser. It's not a intricately produced, well detailed, what do I want to say? Not there's a lot of management involved in Sleep No More. There's a lot of moving parts, and that is, both of those things are hard to do in 2023 right now, financially. Renting a space, finding the right performers, paying performers to do it, paying technicians, paying crew. It's a lot. So it's, I think, a curious time in terms of experiences and what's coming next. So for me, I was in Iceland when this was announced last week. But I see this as a very big deal in experiences people like these days, because it's the end of an era in many ways. So that is the three topics or subjects we have this week on Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz. Like I said, usually we go to the Patreon, dillosdizresort.com, immediately following this for a little post show, but you can hear it in my breath support that my allergies are just, we went from, well, I was in Iceland, so that's a whole different thing, but I had allergies before Iceland, went to Iceland, almost cleared it out entirely, came back to colder temperatures. It was 65 today. It's going to be 65 tomorrow. Then the temperature's going to drop again after a weather change. The rain's going to come. So I'm a mess. So the whole month of November is messy for my allergies. But trying to put together something for Sunday night over at dillosdizresort.com. So that is the plan for that. I know it was a small gathering here tonight, but I appreciate those of you who hung out and got a little more, I don't want to say off topic, but a little more, a little deeper than usual with some of these topics and how they interconnect. So especially Ryan and Jeffers, who were commenting here on the chat. I know a couple of the people jumped in and out along the way. Thanks for hanging out during these 30 minutes on a quiet Thursday night on the Dillos Diz YouTube channel. Until next we see each other, I'm Frank. Bye-bye.